So when you heard T-Bone Walker, you suddenly realised this was almost the talking, singing guitar.
Right.
Not just ching while I sing, let the guitar sing.
Right.
You mentioned Charlie Christian just there, of course, was the first great modern jazz guitarist, I suppose, really. I've also read that you were influenced, strangely enough, by a guy who was...
Django Reinhardt.
Exactly, European player.
Yes.
Gypsy player, basically.
Frenchman. Yeah.
But I mean, where did you hear Django Reinhardt?
As I mentioned to you about going in the Army, a friend of mine went in the Army with me, but instead of him going back to the plantation as I did, he went on overseas. And he knew that I liked guitar, and he heard, at that time it was called the
Quintet of the Hot Club.
Hot Club of France.
That's right, yeah.
And he picked up some records, and when he came back home, he brought them. And I've loved him forever. His fingers, they called him three-fingered lightning. It's so fast. And all kind of... like that, when Charlie Christian would usually a lot of time use what we call diminished chords. Oh gosh. I still wind up trying to sound a little bit like Django, of course that's what I was.
What aspect, because of course Django wasn't a blues player, because it wasn't his culture at all, but was it that bending gypsy romantic?
So the same thing that, you see, I seem to get food from that just as I did the Blind Lemon and the Lonnie Johnson bending up those strings, man. Something. That attack, something out there. I don't know what it is, but it just drives me crazy. I still like it.
Someone you've not mentioned, but I know is important in your life because you've spoken of him many times, was of course a relation of yours, a very well-known blues musician.
Bukka White.
That's right, who was your mother's?
My mother's first cousin, two sisters' children.
What sort of a player was he then? A sort of more of a country player, I suppose?
Yeah, but he was humorous in his music. He reminded me a bit of Spike Jones, if you will. He always could be playing, and he'd talk to you and tell you stories. And he used a bottleneck. He used to take something look like a big pop bottle and break the neck off it and put it on his finger, or when he didn't do that, he had like a steel bar, something like a pipe, steel pipe, and he would saw a piece of it off. Now today you can buy these things, or I think steel guitar players use it now, just the regular bar. But he would take this and put it on his finger, and he would, if he didn't do that, he could use a knife, just a regular pocket knife, and he would slide it around like that.
So the style is like the Hawaiian guitar,
yes,
so
right.
You can, instead of using your fingers, you use a piece of metal or something and go, bend the note like that.
Something like that. Well, I could never do that. I've got stupid fingers, they just won't work. But I used to sit there and listen to him play, and I loved him. I wasn't so much influenced by his playing as I was of him as a person. He, to me, was a jolly guy, always had something nice to say, and used to tell me, I lived with him for a year, and he told me, it's always good to try and make people happy. And he said, if you can't say something that's going to be complimentary to a person, just don't say anything, And I learned to try to do that. And I loved him dearly, and I learned a lot from him. Now, he could take that slide and put it on his finger, and he would, make sounds. Like that. And I could never do that. But when I take my guitar and trill my hand, then my ears say, well, that sounds a little bit like Bukka.
Well, I'll tell you what, we've got something for you here, because never mind what your ears say when you play. Here's Bukka White on a piece of film, so let's listen to the real man, your mother's cousin,
my mother's
playing the blues,
cousin.
and let's look for that steel trill over here.
Well, I never get to the lunch, something. Ladies and gentlemen, this is my last recording I did in L.A., the General Blues. I woke up this morning, I woke up on my feet, get it? Take it easy now, Bukka. I woke up this morning, while I'm looking for my sweet get it? Well, when job knocking on my door. I said, baby, if you can't cook sweet jelly roll, please, ma'am, stop knocking on my door. Yeah! Lord have mercy, now, Mary. Jelly roll in my voice, Mom. Boy, then I got to have my jelly roll 3 times a day. My mother told me from the start that morning, she said, son, you got to get off the sweet jelly roll. I said, mother, how can I get off the sweet jelly roll? Jelly roll in my voice, Mom. Stay long time. I got to do it. Lord have mercy.
Well, that was the man himself, Bukka White.
Yeah. Blind Lemon, my cousin Booker, into, shall we say, Lonnie Johnson. And then later T-Bone started me to hearing the twisting of the strings, the bending of them, and the soulful parts that I would hear from not only the blues singers, but Django as well, Charlie Christian. And that led B.B. King to hear. Sounds like that.
And the vehicle for that all this time has been this very famous lady here. I say that because I suppose it's the most famous guitar in the world because she has a name
Lucille.
written on the top. Is Lucille.
Yes.
You're kidding, aren't you? I mean, you've got 6 Lucilles at home, haven't you? There's not just one.
Don't tell anybody, but I've actually got 4. Yeah, I have 4. I used to loan them to people. I gave away a couple, then I loaned some, 2, 3 to guys, you know, people that I thought I knew, and they never did get back with them. You know, it's kind of like loan your lady. You never do that. You never. If a guy want to take your lady to dinner, go with them.
To get back to your own career, something then happened in the 1960s. Suddenly you became an internationally known player.
Yeah.
Someone who was not just making what we call race records, as they used to be known as, and just working small clubs and so on.
It was starting just a little bit before that.